Welcome back to the Utterly Pointless Channel's Siralim section. I am currently at, I think, level 887. I just started puttering around with Demonologist um, just to save myself from having to put in, I think, 5,000 more crystal, or is it essence? Let me see. I should know after all this time. Let's go ahead and pull the trigger and get that out of there. I'm just a little bit done with having to create a good team for every single goblet specialization rather, that gets required. So, monk, gladiator, or necromancer. Well, I will show you the necromancer build that I have here. Let me see if that is still the team that I had. Yeah, that's got the new awesome Zonti right now, so let's see. So I'm getting rid of him and the awesome Zonti that I have. I have a cheesy version, and they're all the same level here, so I think they should be down here. Okay. I got more Zontis than I know what to deal with. I'm all tongue-tied again. So, see, I got there's another Zonti. And yet another. Okay. So that's the one. I had a Luck Montria that I tried. So let me get rid of that one and withdraw this one. Let's see. Okay, so and I just have one more leper to withdraw here. There we are. Oops. Let me see what I did have. Oh yeah. Obvious. It's like not a sore thumb. It's actually my MVP in pretty much all of my builds, except for maybe like Grove Tender, which I haven't really played at all. So let me just get my other leper, or the Roost Watcher. So I've been meaning to do a quick breakdown of how the order of the team is helpful, plus some of the traits and spell gems and so on. So let me go ahead and get some reordering done here. So Zonti was right here, and then there's some comments from the peanut gallery here. So all right. So the way that Ultimate Trickery, the artifact that Zonti has, works is that Zonti will become a copy of this creature, acquire the first trait from this creature, the secondary or fused trait, so that would be mass summoning. So yeah, that needs some work. I need to reorder stuff here. So yeah, I just got into Demonologist, and then I checked to see if the mass summoning spell still worked, but it didn't. So let me get these two swapped over, and I think that should give me an inheritable stackable trait. So let me see. Oops. So alright, so that will give Zonti additional spell casting for each minion that it has. And So Zonti always does start at the bottom of the timeline. Let me just check and see what the anointments are here. So I do need to get, let's see. What was it? Trickster and even the odds. So that is set up. Let's see. So I don't have quite a full team of the same race, so our team does come back and deal more damage as it gets destroyed, and usually I do have Reaver on, so I don't think I have anything that's really that cool to bring. Ooh. I think we'll use reverberation instead of proliferation. I think we'll just stick with proliferation. And let me just make sure I still got spell gems and stuff. I've stopped bestowing spell gems on new teams and leaving older creatures without spell gems, so that's good. And just checking about the artifacts, so those are all good. I just kind of gave it a half-baked try with Demonologist, but again, it just seemed a little bit rough, so I will go ahead and do the run-through that I promised in my first 15-minute video. So we'll go ahead and take things through and see how that goes. So there's Siralim, and let's see. I'm kind of paranoid about gaining traits from enemies, just because I've wound up having Fey traits show up from Chaos Rift, which means that I would get the ability to count spells as manually cast, even though I couldn't manually cast them or something like that. Or I would get Cerberus traits, which restricted my spell casting as well. So just gonna putter through here and make the most of Corpse Explosion, which Zonti does cast as a result of even the odds, which kills one creature right off the bat, except in boss fights where all creatures get 20% less health. So this is just a run-through team, just basically a non-boss team. So as you can see, Mr. Zonti got all the heavy lifting done. So I'll just grab some buffs here as I can. If you're going through this realm or somewhere like Apocrynox's level 110 Blood Grove, you're going to get the opportunity to buff your creatures, and then past a certain point you will see that you can't buff anything anymore. So this may happen here. I'll probably try to grab some wealth out of those stars instead before I run out of debuffs or get maxed out on them. So we'll see how that goes. I do have Feign Death here, which gives everybody... Oh, no, there we are. Good. Which gives everybody everybody else's traits. So Roost Watcher is pretty awesome. When you feign death with the Roost Watcher, you give its extra damage ability, or trait rather, which is, as we'll see here, whoops. Gulper. So this creature will deal 50% more damage for each buff, debuff, and minion it has greater than its target. So, as you can see, everybody's got some really nice buffs here, attack-wise and spell-wise and so forth, with proliferation and so on, acting as additional backing here. So it's nice getting realm boosts and then not having to do much fighting. So as you can see here, there's quite a bit of buffing and so forth. So if I have to, I can have the Crazed Leper use Feign Death, and that way my team will be using extra health for extra damage with Wreck. So, and there's some life gained real quick. So let's see, I'll just use Dense Fog here, and just use that again. And so there we go. Bang and Bourbon is just a fantastic spell to have to ramp things up. If you've got a team that doesn't really quite have too much in the way of aggressive anointments, though I do have proliferation here, and also I can't remember what it was called, disintegration, denigration, explanation. I don't know. But I'll just put a shell bust on here, and there we go. Oh, nice. So what I should do is sacrifice a whole bunch of nether gems and get the extra piety that I need to boost everything at the reliquary a little bit more. It's been proving very helpful. I've got the synergy buff up to, like, I think 82 now. So 82% of unused relics bonuses get transferred over. So when it comes to mirror matches, we're starting to get just that slight advantage. So there we go. Another corpse explosion, and I just, for some reason, dread doing these because it's extra time taken, but Zonti is the creature to go to if you want to clear stuff really quick. So I'm hoping there's an additional corpse explosion still down the road here. I do have Elemental Tome attached to him as well, so I've got mad spells, extra ethereal spells that everybody can cast every time that Zonti casts. So really sweet nether gem to have at the moment. So let's see. And so as you saw that, I'm out of possible extra buffs. So we'll ooh, yeah, nice. So there's some extra damage from relics. Sweet. And there we are, just leading off with a lot of corpse explosions here. So So all these necromancer traits are just providing a good all-around damage bonus. I have to admit I've been using a really buffed out Zonti as an MVP sort of character to bust through any kind of stalemates, a lot like my Sapphire Drake. So he's one of the adaptable creatures I keep for practically every build. So I'll just use Angry Orchard here, and that turns into 4 dealings of massive damage to creatures. So yep, we got some crazy gems. I don't know if anything will come back right now, but come on now. Come on now. Come on now. Alright. So let's see what I got for 5 pages of stuff to cast now. So that's really sweet. Okay, so yeah, heck with it. It's a minion build anyway, so there's a couple of writhlings, and I'll show you the traits for everybody in a second, but as you can see, there is a real heavy reliance on Zonti to just cast corpse explosions at any chance that he gets. So I've only got like 3 or 4 buffs, I believe, from Gate of the Gods, so fairly immature avatar with not many boosts at all to power in any way. So, and there you can see that I really have used up all the extra boosts in the realm, and it's kind of shrugging its hands at me and asking when I'm going to leave. So I'll just start off with another corpse explosion if I can, which is weird that it didn't happen. So we'll just add some more minions so everybody gets more damage as soon as the Gulper, or rather Roost Watcher, can just feign death. So and I forget if I had that set to have an extra creature do it, but I haven't really been able to see it. So there should be quite a bit of extra damage, especially from the leper here, the crazed leper, due to getting so much health with NG 5740, I think is the relic name. So we got lots of minions coming, but I don't think that I've really used any of the field items to change any creature's personality just yet. So I do have some high offense, high attack creatures that should be focusing on their spells, and vice versa. So I'll be going through that, but I have been making a lot of improvements to this team. Let me go ahead and, while I'm at a treasure chest, give you a quick overview of everything regarding traits and so forth. So, okay. So we got Zonti, the major spellcaster here, expanded power. Any spell winds up just being a massive amount of damage if it does have that designation. It has additional intelligence equal to 5% of other creatures' current health. So as this guy, the crazed leper, gets his health up due to the relic, that's a big boost here. And that ties into the extra trait that he grabbed for Corpse Explosion. That would be Final Excretion, and because of Ultimate Trickery on his artifact, he does have that trait also. So I've got final excretion and also liberation. So for each minion that Zonti has, he will also cast corpse explosion a couple of extra times, which is his Johnny one note sort of spell. So moving on, I've got the Timeless Master. This creature deals additional damage with attacks and spells equal to 25% of total damage the enemy has received in current battle. I might want to swap him out and actually get a fused creature that has the leper's final excretion as a fused trait, so that way, and I know I just said that poorly, but anyway, I'm at a dollar store and everybody's closing up. I just don't want to get busted by cops doing this, because I got to get registered when I move and so on. But anyway, so yeah, I would consider using Ultimate Trickery for this first trait, because Zonti usually used Equilibrium and it just snowballed damage in a huge way with more and more corpse explosions and then final excretion here. So every time that he did deal damage, or every time a creature did die, he would cast corpse explosion. So again, this would have to be the fused trait, because he would be taking this primary trait here and then taking the fused trait here instead of the main trait as it is set up right here. So the creature that he would get it from would not be a crazed leper, but something that did fuse with a crazed leper. So going back to the Timeless Master here, we've got that Equilibrium, also Arcane Brilliance. After creatures cast a sorcery spell, our creatures, thank goodness, they gain 40% intelligence. So I do have some damage here from Warp Reality, and let's see, Angry Orchard as well. That's moderate damage, which upgrades to massive because of Zonte. So that's a nice way to get a whole bunch of extra damage off that. And then that is everything here, except for Torn Between Scylla and Charybdis, and I do have a generous Feign Death. So after your creatures die or cast Feign Death, they grant a copy of their innate trait to your other creatures. So Zonti has this one, which is useless for Torn Between Scylla and Charybdis. Equilibrium is very nice. This makes all creatures deal additional damage equal to 25% of total damage dealt already, so that's really sweet. Final excretion here gets passed on. Puppet Master here. This creature deals 20% more damage and takes 5% less damage for each minion. Very sweet. Watch of the Buried. When this creature gains a minion, that minion's number of stacks is set to max amount. And then I've got Gulper here. So this creature, all your creatures will deal 50% more damage for each buff, debuff, and minion. So moving on to the Crazed Leper here. So we had the final excretion, which was already discussed. Crystallization. After this creature casts a spell, your creatures gain 15%. So that's kind of sweet with corpse explosion. Every time an enemy does die, it does get this creature to cast corpse explosion and give your creatures 15% defense. And then wreck. When this creature attacks, its damage is based on its current health instead of attack. So NG, 5740 NG is really incredible when it comes to getting a creature to gain a lot of extra maximum health. So rank 30 sets it up to gain 15% more max health from stat boosting effects, and then right at rank 50 the bearer would gain 10% max health, which winds up being something like 11.5% from rank 30's bonus. So And then at the end of each enemy's turn, this relic has a 20% chance to cast Stone Skin on the bearer. So very nice way to protect stats that usually wind up getting knocked away. And again, if you use Death Rattle from the Blood Spec, that's helpful to keep all your creatures getting buffed. This is the Grave Leper. Again, has the Puppet Master to deal more damage for each minion and take less damage. Liberation, multiple spells for each minion that it has. Spells include Angry Orchard and Rabid Dementia. Angry Orchard, again, deals damage multiple times. Rabid Dementia is an attack for 200%, which I put on the Crazed Leper. And River against the Current, it could be replaced with a guild sorcery, I believe, that does remove all enemies' buffs and your team's debuffs. So that's just a placeholder there. And after that, we have the Lich Netherwalker, who maxes out any gained minions. And so if you have the ability to get 15 minions, for example, instead of 9, you'll just be able to stay at 9 due to maxing out your stacks. I think it is 9 max for a lot of things, but anyway, Mass Summoning does give everything a nice boost here. And then open the portals. After this creature attacks, it gains a random minion. After your other creatures attack, they have a 30% chance to gain a random minion. So that works well with the Crazed Leper attacking. Zonti not so much, just casting spells. But everybody else is fair game for attacking in this. And Book of the Heretic, this creature's spells are 100% more potent, but have a 25% chance to fizzle. So I might replace that. And then we have, oh shoot, excuse me. All right, sorry about that. It's easy to slip between creatures here. So anyway, maxes out minions, get you 1 to 3 random minions at start of battle, and then on attack. And this should hopefully happen again. Actually, I'm sorry. I should be using Fable here for on-attack effects, but let me see what Ripple Vein does. This is a minion-based relic anyway, so 3 stacks of zombies, relic attacks for each minion that the bearer has. After the relic attacks, there's some spiderlings, so that makes attacking fun. From the creature itself, 5% more damage for each minion stack, and spells that interact with minions are cast 2 additional times, not the start of turn or start of battle effect here, unfortunately. Mass Summoning. And yeah, I should be putting some minion-based spells in here, so let me go ahead and take out... they're all so good. I'll take out... oh, shoot, that's right. I'll take out Fury Swipes. And then, last creature to discuss here, and thank you for your patience staying here so far. Gulper, so this Watcher here is part of a race that gets an additional boost for each blah, blah, blah. So in this case, 50% more damage for each buff, debuff, and minion that it has greater than its target. So gets to be a nice multiplier of probably 200 to 300% on average. Lots of minions, and let's say, no debuffs on the enemy. So I should go ahead and turn that off too. Then we got Unleash the Horde, 3 additional stacks of each minion max, and Teller's Fangs. So this creature will deal more damage for each time it's taken damage in the current battle. I did have Sabotage set in to make that happen. in a big way, 3 attacks from an enemy, and all damage could not be avoided. It was like 5% per attack, so not usually lethal, and that's it for our team. I will show you just the spell gems again. I've got Tsunami, Crushing Impact, Feign Death, then I got Angry Orchard, Dense Fog, and Vacuum. So Dense Fog is good for just turning offense down on the enemy side. Vacuum, great for stealing any trait that looks especially appealing. Usually I just try to wipe stuff out as is. Then I got False Beliefs for dealing with healing teams. Holy Blast combo's great with Warp Reality, which sets up and destroys a barrier very, very nicely for plenty of additional damage. So I got Resurrection here. I should probably turn that to Requiem, so that'll be another thing to fix. I'd like to replace River Against the Current, as mentioned. I do have Angry Orchard. Looks like twice here. Yep. Okay, so that can use some fine-tuning. Curse to the Swarm, Fury, Swipes, and Shell Bust. And did I already have that? I don't. As you can see, I've been just doing a lot of fine-tuning, but there are always like little nitpicky things that you almost always can improve. Putting gems in your level 50 artifacts, for example, huge and sometimes very obviously missed, but it just winds up being such a micromanagement style of game that, you know, sometimes you just get drowned. So I can probably upgrade the nether stone here. That would be Lustrous Prism, rank 24. So that is it for everything. Actually, let me just get the last few spell gems here. So I got Wormhole, Warp Reality, and Summon Horde. So Wormhole is generous, so it's sometimes used to get the Roost Watcher to the top of the timeline, so it can cast Feign Death. And just gotta love those googling eye stalks there in the middle. I grew up with graphics this quality, so it's always fun to take a step back and, you know, see some stuff with two-step animations. They built this to have all these animations, whether you go up, down, left, or right. Still, that was something that was in older games, but not quite as beautifully done as in Siralim, where you've got just hundreds and hundreds of monsters, all lovingly detailed. And I mean, just look at that. It could hypnotize you on a bad day for ages. But that is it for the strategy for this team. Again, it's really kind of cheesy, a little bit with Anointments and Zonti, and for the most part, I'm just wiping stuff out quickly with even the odds and Final Excretion. So there we go. Out of buffs here, I made it to what I call the soda fountain. Usually I do go right through a realm. Let me just check and see what I got for monsters left. 2. Alright, well, I'll be a trooper. There we go. Clean out that cruddy angel. And place your bets whether or not this will get me detained for making a video after closing. Let me just get these creatures out of here and I'll run to the soda fountain. So there's a nice quick corpse explosion. As you saw, even got up to 2.3 million health on turn 1. So got some lovely buffs here. I'm going to get some quick wealth here because I can't get another buff. That one last monster must be around here somewhere. And yeah, I really got to get going because I know I'm going to get stopped by the freaking popo. Oh gosh, it's just my luck. But hey, I need treasure. Come on. Gotta have that treasure. Come on. Go. Go. I gotta get home. Come on. I gotta get home before I get detained, man. Come on. I'm moving to a new town shortly, so... Oh, boy. Oh, man. Come on, dude. You gotta get going. Come on, fly. Die. Die so I can do a corpse explosion. Beautiful. All right. Great. Okay. Don't hit any stupid... How much you want to bet? This is how addicted I am. There we go. Oh, bless you for not turning into a monster encounter. All right. So that is it. That is my necromancer team, my new and somewhat improved. I'll just grab a Siralim's lamp. I really need one. And nice treasure chest on the way. So this has been a breakdown of my team. Not quite perfect yet, because I really want to have Torn Between Scylla and Charybdis provide a gainable effective buff, or trait rather, from each of my team, but that's not quite happening yet. So there may be some final fine tunes here. I may have Zonti get some additional traits from different creatures, or the same creatures in a different order. So thank you so much for watching. It's truly appreciated. I am getting out of here now because I'm really pushing my luck. So there we go. I made it. I am home, and at least in the game. Let me just drive home and do some extra bonus content here. Hopefully I got enough memory on the phone. I think I've gotten rid of a lot of junk on the phone from past Siralim videos, and I've been making a ton of stuff in Mid-Journey as well. So I'm trying to kick around a tarot deck tonight. I went out for a fireworks display that the town has. I am kind of gonna miss this place because it's kind of growing from the little outpost that it was when I first came here 2 years ago. I first moved to this little home for hippie burnout photographers up on a hill, and there was one guy who was extremely nice, and he was very famous and very gracious, and you know, he said, you know, we can go ahead and talk about things and you know, take your mind off all the bad things that brought you here. And so it was kind of good for a bit. You know, he used to tell me about all these famous people that he would photograph and stuff, and you know, he gave me some great stories about celebrities and famous singers and so on that, you know, that were basically his treasure, his intellectual treasure. And I managed to do a 38-minute interview with him as he gave his consent, but he was 81, and then after he turned 82, shortly after that, he just wound up becoming a really grumpy, needy, entitled kind of a guy. And like one day I offered to go shopping for him, and you know, I told him I'd get him a couple of cans of food or whatever he needed. So he got obsessed about me just saying that I would get some cans, and you know, I had said, hey, leave some cash at the door. It's like I'm not some charity, you know, that's gonna go shopping for him. So he leaves me this big nasty email, like saying, cans of food, what do you think I am, some kind of schmuck? Lionel, stop sleeping so much and wake up. And he got really bad, like after a while, with the space heaters and so on. And then my hallmate had stabbed his wife, and one of the chain smokers there said, hey, you should talk to the landlord about all of his smoking. And he started flipping out at me because he found that I had spoken with the landlord about it. So he was like, it's only fair that you leave, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I want to leave anyway. I had to step on my brakes 8 times to get down the driveway, and then probably another 13 more on the dirt road just to get back to what I considered civilization. So I managed to move down the hill, and I just found the best landlord ever. And I am going to feel really bittersweet about leaving this place. It has been the absolute best place to be. I have gotten nothing but kindness here, and the only reason I am going is that I'll be saving about an hour and a half of driving every day, and car wear and tear and gas. So that is just going to be badly needed for me. I wish I could stay here. But this building is unfortunately for sale. It is my landlord's retirement plan. So I'm hoping he can get it flipped and be on his way to Florida, where he can get all the fun that he wants and just finally stop having to worry about this place. Because it is a pretty huge place. If you check out my back rooms video, you'll see a quick little tour through it. So anyway, speaking of tours, this has been my necromancer tour. I know it really has been kind of meta. I just really am not into a build that has so many little factors here, like random minions that really don't give you hands-on control that you could have with Siege Master, for example, and Shadowbringer. I mean, it's just like walking around with a shotgun. That just punches a hole, like one creature at a time. Just knocks them the heck out for 100% plus damage. And with the surprise trait on the Sapphire Drake with the World Breaker and Shadow Sickness anointments, I mean, it just runs on autopilot, and it doesn't bring punitive reactions from the enemy for doing things like casting spells or attacking. So if you're fighting an avatar, for example, that will cast 3 spells for every spell that you cast, or do 3 attacks for every attack you cast, Sapphire Drake plus Improbable Catapult plus Surprise plus Shadow Sickness equals slow, steady, controllable win. Actually, it's automatic win. So do give that a try. Anyway, I know this video is really, really, really running on long, so I'd like to get it published tonight along with my fireworks video. This cheesy phone might be out of memory soon if I don't stop. So all the best to everybody, and catch up soon. Hopefully this will upload. Thanks again for watching. Please subscribe if you would like more content. Every subscription just encourages me to sit down and play a little bit more or create more. So thank you.